Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and this is going to be a different type of video that I'm going to try out at this driving event for the second channel. We're in the all-new 2022 Volvo V90 cross-country B6 all-wheel drive, and this is literally just going to be my initial impressions. Typically when I do these driving portions in videos, I usually have driven the car for a second, so I kind of already have a feel for it, whereas this, like, we're just hopping in and we are going. And also, this is the first time I have ever driven in California in my entire life, and I thought Utah was bad, but like, there's no turn signal use in California, and people like are constantly just randomly slamming on their brakes, evasive maneuvers, and I'm slightly terrified. So like, let's hope I survive the ordeal. But anyways, let's talk about the V90. Like, again, just my initial impressions just right off the bat. So first off, from a ride quality perspective, it is very, very smooth. And also, if you're watching this, you live in California, see, like, the lane merges. So like, turn signal, do you see how that works? Like, I know it's crazy, but it kind of lets other drivers know that, like, you're gonna make a turn. And, back to the car. Ride quality, super smooth. This has rear air suspension, which is awesome, and you can actually perceive what's happening, because when you go over bumps and everything, and I've noticed the roads in California are not nearly as nice as what we have out in Utah, which is surprising because our roads get beat up. Like, this is just like tons of patchwork and everything. You think with all the tax revenue they'd have nicer roads. This is like half of me like critiquing California and half me talking about the car. At least all my negative comments are about California, not the car. But yeah, it goes over everything very smooth. Like, it does a really good job with soaking things up, and it really does feel like a luxury car, just initially hopping in. The seat feels very comfortable. It's very supportive. I've got the ventilated seat function on, which is great because it's like 70 degrees outside, and it's just keeping me at a nice, cool temperature. And so that's definitely a huge plus for me. Aside from that, visibility seems to be great with the V90 Cross, so that's great. The one thing I will say is this is a weird car. It like looks like a hatchback on the outside, but it feels like an SUV. Like, I'm higher up off the ground. You've actually have some ground clearance, and this definitely, like, if anyone ever calls this a hatchback or like a station wagon, it's not really true. It's more like just an SUV, but like really long. Basically, you guys can see just like how long that is back there. And also, don't try that at home, kids. I was just checking my blind spot, okay? Aside from that, touch points, kind of initially, really nice. I like this two-tone design on the steering wheel with just how it looks, and it feels very nice. Like, the steering wheel is great, just like holding it. Grips are really great, and it's like you can kind of, like, there's a separation in the leather on the back, and so you can kind of just like lock your fingers in on that, so you can kind of get a nice grip so your hands don't slide all over the place, which is nice. All the wood trim feels great. The dash is nice leather all over it. Everything material wise just seems really nice. Like, again, this feels like a nice upscale luxury vehicle. The one thing I will initially critique is the airbag cover. I wish that they had like leather or something on it instead of just exposed plastic, because you have, again, really nice materials for the steering wheel and the controls on the steering wheel and around the controls, and then you just have plastic, and then also for like the turn signals and certain turn signal, light stock, all that stuff, also pretty plasticky. The braking, that's another thing I noticed initially. It's almost like a regular car, but it's slightly different. Like, there's this, I can't exactly put my finger on it, but there's just something about the braking where you can kind of tell that, I mean, this is obviously a hybrid, but where you can kind of, you get that hybrid braking feel just slightly, but they've done a really good job with minimizing it overall from a just a feel perspective. And then in terms of the steering, it feels very direct for an SUV, which is kind of interesting. I like it. I like the steering feel. It's light, and it's like, it's effortless. But there's definitely a level of directness to it, and I wouldn't say you can necessarily feel what's happening with the front end because this car is so plush, but it's really, it's really good. It just has this nice directness and like kind of dartiness to it, and this is really good to show the suspension because, again, got these, I mean, they're not huge bumps or anything like that, but we've got a couple manhole covers, and yeah, it just does a really good job with going over everything. And then this is where we can kind of see the steering a little bit more. And you guys notice here at the center gauge cluster, I've got the navigation on to take me to the place where I'm going to be filming a walk around on this car. And it's really cool that it shows in the gauge cluster, and then it also shows on the center screen. So I have like 2 different points to look at, or if I had a passenger, for example, they could look on the center screen. So that's great. Looks like we've got a panoramic sunroof. It's nice. Let's a little bit of extra light in the cabin, which is great here in California. It's not a beautiful day today. I mean, I like this kind of weather, but it's not like, you know, you'd think of California, you always think of like sunshine, and it's just kind of like overcast today. But I like it because it's not super hot. And then because the sunroof's open, it lets a little bit more light. So the cabin overall has this like open feeling to it. And it's also the lighter colors kind of add to that open feeling. If it was like a just plain black interior, you know, feel dark and gloomy. Whereas this, with all of the white that you get, which I can't remember the name of this interior color. It'll be in the review. Definitely kind of livens things up a little bit, basically. See how she goes. That sounds way better than what I'm used to with a Volvo. Actually, that actually sounded pretty good. And look, there's a Rolls Royce. Sorry, you guys that live in California are like, I see 20 of those a day. Okay, I never see them. But anyways, the acceleration's really solid, actually. It feels decently quick. It's not like it throws you in your seat and you're like, wow. And there's the navigation.
Canyon Road.
You're not like, wow, this is the fastest thing I have ever driven in my life. But I mean, it gets up to speed at a really good pace. But I definitely prefer driving it like partial throttle, not full throttle. Because partial throttle, it feels better. Like, it just has so much low-end torque, and the torque band is pretty wide in this car as well. And so you just kind of push through with the torque. Which, I don't know, that's just kind of what I'm getting here initially. I'm used to the brakes though now, which is good. And we're just gonna roll through that. Nothing to see here, folks.
Continue for 6 miles.
Yeah, this is definitely a torque car. Like, this is like a partial throttle car that really the only time you're gonna be going full throttle is if you want to beat someone at the stoplight, I guess, if you like, I don't know, really have a hankering for it. But really, if you just want to quickly pass someone, it's got that where it gears down really quick and it's just boom, right into it. And it just moves. Sorry, I can't help myself. It's quick for a Volvo. This is crazy to me. And we've got some windy-ish roads here, so this should be some fun coming up here. But anyways, I guess that we should start to kind of get into summing things up for this initial impression video for the second channel. Oh, this will be cool. It's just to see how the weight changes when you go over bumps and everything. This is actually perfect to like end the video because we have this little up and down, and so I can kind of see what the suspension's doing a little bit. Yeah, it's so good. Wow. And we've got a little corner here with a bunch of construction. There's so much construction here in California too. There's a lot in Utah, but this is definitely a lot more. Wow, this is pretty though. This is a driver's road, I can tell you that right now. And I can also feel the steering a little bit better, kind of what's happening, because we're actually taking some more turns other than being on some big sweepers that are on the highway. Yeah, this is fun. This is actually pretty fun. So yeah, let's sum things up here with the V90, again, for the initial impressions. So first off, just looking at the car, it looks like a Volvo. And so like you either love Volvo styling or you don't. I love the front end of Volvos. The back end's pretty cool with like the shape from the side angle. The taillights, I've always been kind of like back and forth on. I'm like, do I like them? Do I not like them? I don't know. But overall, it looks like a Volvo. So if you like Volvo styling, you like this. They still like stayed true to normal Volvo styling. Interior wise, it's amazing. Again, really nice. I love the wood trim because they did kind of like a grainy look on it. They didn't do like the high gloss finish, which I'm not a fan of high gloss finish on wood trim. So that looks great. Seats are really comfortable. I've been in this car for what, like 30 minutes now, almost, something like that. And yeah, feels great from a seating perspective. So that's good. And then infotainment system so far has been easy to use for like what I've had to use it for with navigation and all that. Like I just press the voice command button, tell it where to take me, and pops up there. You guys might be wondering, If you have to have like an Android or something, since this is powered by Google, you don't. So I have an iPhone, and that's literally all you need. You don't have to have an Android. It still works, and I think that it comes with the services for like 4 years, so that's cool. Other than that, suspension's great. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's comfortable. It's a really good luxury car. So yeah, if you're looking for, like, again, it's not really a station wagon because it's higher up off the ground. I guess if you want a station wagon-esque SUV that's very smooth, very comfortable, really quiet, just a really good luxury vehicle overall, the V90 does a really good job with that. And this new powertrain's great. It's very quiet. Like, you can still tell that it's not fully electric, right? You can still hear some engine, especially when you're at higher speeds. But when you're at low speeds and it does the engine stop, start, and all that kind of stuff, you don't really notice it. It's pretty much imperceivable. So you almost feel like you're driving an electric car when you're around town and at low speeds. But when you go full throttle, that's when you go, okay, this thing has an engine. So yeah, I think Volvo's nailed it. Like, they've gone to that, you know, true like luxury car-esque feel where it looks great, has a great interior, it's comfortable, it's quiet, and it's got good technology as well. I'm a huge fan. I'm surprised, and this is definitely a huge step in the right direction for Volvo. And so I'm excited to see what else they come out with in the next few years, and also getting this technology into the other models. I'm excited for that because this is great. And also, I guess I should mention the sound system. I listen to music for a little bit. Obviously can't have it on camera because YouTube and copyright infringement and all that fun stuff that I get to deal with. It's a really good sound system. It gives you that like nice surround sound, almost like a really high quality home sound system feel. And so, like, yeah, I can't really knock it for what they're going for. I guess the only thing that I have to say is it's not a performance vehicle. So if you're looking for like super sporty driving and high performance, this is not the car for you. But if you want a really good, comfortable daily driver, then that's where this shines. This does a really good job with that. And we've got a tunnel run, which, I mean, we don't have a crazy lot. Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to hear the exhaust because that's not what they're going for. Man, this is a point where I wish I had the TRX, because I would have just like full throttle through the tunnel. Everyone behind me goes deaf, and yeah, I mean, yeah, that's gonna sum things up for the initial impressions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys thought about this. If you want me to post more videos like this on the second channel, where I just jump into a car, give my initial impressions, and I'll do more of it. See you guys.